Hey guys, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Anna Baker and I'm a hand lettering and calligraphy artist with a degree in education. One of the most common things that I hear from beginners is that their pen frays from practicing and they can't figure out why. And that is usually down to two problems. And the first one is probably the most important, and that is how you hold your brush pen. If you're not familiar with brush calligraphy, there is a major goal in achieving the look, and that is thick downstrokes and thin upstrokes, and that is achieved in two essential ways. First of all, in the way that you hold your pen, and secondly, in the pressure that you apply to your pen. So I'm going to be showing you specifically how to hold your pen to achieve the best result sooner, and so that your practicing will be more effective and you will see improvement quicker than if you didn't know these things. So all of this is stuff I wish I had known when I first got started, so I'm hopefully giving that to you so that you can be even farther ahead than I was. So let's jump into the lesson and teach you how to hold your pen in the best possible way to achieve the best look for brush calligraphy. So really quickly, I'm going to explain to you the difference between how we hold a regular pen and pencil and how we hold a brush pen, either small or large. Now, really quickly, let me explain to you why you need to be aware of how you hold your regular pen versus the way you hold your brush pens. So for example, when we write cursive, okay, the point of cursive is that it's supposed to be quick and efficient. Okay, the point of cursive is that you can take down information that is being given to you verbally in a very quick and efficient manner. So for example, when we write cursive, the pencil is held loosely in our hand. We're moving our fingers, we're moving our wrist, and we're not taking our pencil off of the paper because we're trying to really write our letters down as quickly as possible. And that is basically the point of cursive, to quickly write down language in order to communicate or remember that information later on, okay? Now, we tend to hold, at least I do, we tend to hold our pens differently at a different angle than we should hold our brush pens. And what I'll talk to you a little bit more about what that angle means here in a minute. But for example, you can see that my pencil is being held rather high up. In other words, it's almost at 90 degrees from my paper. It's more at, like, I would say 70 to 80 degrees, okay? With brush calligraphy, however, you need to keep in mind that two basic things, okay? Position, and that position needs to be at 45 degrees, okay? A 45-degree angle. If you don't remember exactly what that means from math class back in the day, maybe you have been out of school for a while like me, 90 degrees is straight up from the flat surface, okay? Here's 90 degrees, and I'm holding my pencil at, like, I would say right around here. 90 degrees is here, 0 degrees is here, and we usually hold our pens and pencils right around there. However, with brush calligraphy, we need to be halfway between that 90-degree mark and the paper, okay? So our paper is flat. We don't want to be at 90 degrees. We want to be halfway there, okay? And the way that we achieve that is by the way that we hold our brush pens. Now, when you pick up a brush pen, you can see that the anatomy of it is a little bit different than our regular pencil or pen. Our pencils and pens are usually very small, and the very tip is where we want to apply pressure in order to achieve writing. However, with a brush pen, I'll show you with a larger one so you can get a better view. We have this long, flexible nib. This whole area is called a nib. And we don't want to write with our tips. And that is the basic premise or problem, I should say, that beginners have is that they attempt to use the tip in order to write or draw their calligraphy, just like they would a regular pen or pencil. However, like I mentioned before, that is not the case. Brush pens are actually meant to be used in a specific way that involves you applying enough pressure and using that whole side of the nib to achieve these nice thick downstrokes. And holding your pen in this 45-degree angle is what is going to allow you to get these nice thin upstrokes and thick downstrokes. Okay? So the way that I achieve this is focusing on a couple things. And the first off is, again, like I've been saying, is in the way I hold my pen. Now, like I said before, with a regular pen or pencil, I am holding it loosely. It doesn't look like it's moving because it's not flopping around, because I do have good control, but my fingers are moving a lot and my wrist is moving a lot in order to quickly write and get those shapes down on the paper. With brush calligraphy, where you're not supposed to keep your pen on the paper for the duration of every word. You're actually supposed to lift your brush pen between strokes. So the way that I hold my brush pen is specifically near this knuckle. Now again, I am right-handed. Left-handed artists may have to figure out a different way to do this, but the premise is still the same. You need to make sure that you're going to be able to hold your pen in the best way possible to achieve that 45-degree angle. So the way I do it is I put it next to this knuckle right up here. I'm not holding it back here. This will make you use the tip like we do with regular pens and pencils. However, when you bring it over here, you're automatically having to turn your wrist in order to get that 45-degree angle. So once again, here you go. This is 90 degrees. This is 45 degrees. This, holding it near this knuckle and holding your pen firmly. The pen isn't going to move other than up and down. Okay, your whole hand will actually need to move to the side and down and up in order to get the most flexibility. You don't want to move your wrist too much unless you're creating very large letters. So again, near the knuckle, hold it firmly and at that 45-degree angle so that the tip of your brush pen barely grazes the surface, and then when you put pressure, the whole side of your nib comes in contact with your paper. Okay, let me show you again. There, nearly the entire side of my nib is coming in contact with my paper, and I'm not hurting my brush pen because I'm not using the tip to create that downstroke. It's barely gonna touch the paper. It barely touches the paper until I basically move my hand down just a little bit, enough that it grazes my paper, okay? But once I'm applying pressure, I'm not applying pressure like this. That's what we do with a regular pencil. So not only do you not achieve the look that you're going for, you're hurting your brush pens in the long run. You want the whole side of your nib to come in contact with that paper, and it'll still allow you to use the tip just barely in order to get that nice thin upstroke. The same principle does apply with a small brush pen, which I actually recommend beginners start with, a smaller brush pen. This is harder to deal with. You don't have to move your hand as much with a small brush pen. So same principle, I'm holding it near the knuckle firmly, and what's going to be moving a lot is my actual arm. So pressure when you go down, very light pressure moving up, pressure coming down, and so on. So you can see my hand is actually moving rather than my fingers too much or my wrist. And you can move your paper to make sure that you always have the best angle preserved. The most important thing, again, when trying to achieve brush calligraphy is positioning. How are you holding your pen in a way that ensures you always have the optimal angle at all times? So I hope that was helpful to you. Leave me a comment in the comment section below, letting me know what questions you have that I could possibly help you with. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.